I've designed over 200 characters using this exact three-step process. And today I'm breaking down the system that took me from struggling art student to professional character designer. By minute 14, you'll have a foolproof method that works every single time. Hey, everyone, I'm Summer, and if you've been following my channel, you know I'm obsessed with making character design accessible to everyone. But here's the thing. 3 years ago, I was completely lost. I'd spend hours on a character only to end up with something that felt flat, generic, boring. Then I discovered this three-step framework that changed everything. This is the exact process I use professionally, and it's what I teach in my workshops. So grab your stylus, open the drawing software, and let's dive in. Step 1 is what I call the foundation framework, and it starts with 3 core questions that most artists completely skip. But these questions, they're game changers. Question 1. What's their story? Not their backstory, their right now story. Are they confident, nervous, angry? This drives everything. Question 2. What's their role? Hero, villain, sidekick, mentor? Each role has visual language. Question 3. What's their world? Fantasy, sci-fi, modern day? The world shapes the character. If you start to act without considering these 3 questions clearly, your character will lose its soul. This mistake kills 90% of character designs instantly. Let me show you. I'm creating a character right now. I'm going to design a more distinctive female character. I want to incorporate some gothic elements into this design. The background story I designed is like this. In the post-apocalyptic society, it is a hybrid world of the Fallout nuclear war wasteland and desassumed whale oil steampunk, where the ash fever plague erodes human memory. Memory is the currency in this world. Our character is named Eldra, a black market alchemist. She mastered the purification of body fluids and used it to break the monopoly. Trading in the black market requires confidence, which means a tough stance and a flamboyant personality. The alchemist with a heart full of justice implies practical clothing and tools with positive and mysterious colors. The hybrid world of post-apocalyptic society and steampunk represents the combination of science fiction and mechanical elements. 3 questions are clear at a glance. This foundation prevents that staring at blank canvas paralysis. You're not just drawing a person, you're drawing a story. The first secret question that professionals ask is whether the theme of your character is clear and understandable. To enhance the steampunk feel, I changed her clothing and equipment, adding more artificial metal material elements. Hold on, I just realized I'm about to make the same mistake that killed my last character design. Let me show you what not to do first. Don't just focus on a single part. Treat the character as a whole and observe the density relationship of the design. Don't start drawing the details right away. During the design process, the proportion of visual elements should be taken into account. Functional design accounts for 60%, narrative decoration for 30%, and decorative elements for 10%. In this way, your design can better reflect the character's occupational attributes. Of course, the ratios of 60%, 30%, and 10% are not absolute and can be adjusted around these values. However, the proportion of functional elements that can reflect the character's occupation should be the largest. The silhouette should expand outward as much as possible to make the silhouette more dynamic. At the same time, pay attention to the balance of the overall shape. This next part is something I learned from a Disney animator, and it completely changed how I approach character foundations. using visuals to guide the audience's attention. The silhouette recognition of the characters is extremely high, even just looking at the black silhouettes. One can judge the identity and movements of the characters through their body postures, such as Mickey's big ears plus round body, Donald Duck's flat mouth plus short legs. This is the ultimate embodiment of simplifying information and strengthening features in character design. So I designed the characters' weapons and equipment on their sides to have a greater impact on their outer contours. Let's compare and take a look at the differences in the silhouettes of these two schemes in the picture. The first plan has a relatively straight outer contour on the right side and lacks variation. The second one will have a stronger sense of rhythm. You can look at all the schemes. Step 2 is where the magic happens. Shape, language, mastery. Every shape tells a story, and most artists use them randomly. Circles equal friendly, approachable, soft. Squares equal stable, reliable, strong. Triangles equal dynamic, dangerous, sharp. I also learned from the Disney animators whether the character is positive or negative. They all need to have visual appeal, not merely beauty, but uniqueness, vividness, and memorable points. The appeal of positive characters. It often adopts smooth lines, soft facial contours, smooth body curves, symmetrical proportions, and bright colors to convey a sense of warmth and kindness. The appeal of villainous characters with sharp lines and angular faces. Contrast is created, but personalized features are retained, so that even if the audience detests their behavior, they will still be attracted by the uniqueness of their design. The line drawing part takes a relatively long time. Now for colors. Remember my color matching video? Same principles apply. This color trick took me 3 years to discover. For this picture, I chose purple and yellow as the contrasting colors. Change the lightness and saturation of these two colors respectively to obtain a color card with more color variations. Wandering in the black market and maintaining a low-key and mysterious demeanor. I chose dark gray as the main color and let it occupy the largest area of the picture. The metal is selected with a low saturation of yellow and a small amount of gray of different lightness. For color lightness adjustment, bright purple is used as an accent to enhance the contrast and color variation of the picture. I interspersed light and dark gray to accentuate the character. See how shape, language, and color theory work together. She reads as competent but approachable, professional but human. That's intentional design, not happy accidents. Step 3 is the 80/20 detail rule, and this will save you hours of work while making your characters more impactful. This detail rule will save you hours. Here's the secret. 80% of your character's impact comes from 20% of the details. Most artists detail everything equally and wonder why their characters feel flat. When initially designing characters, this issue also needs to be taken into account. Which aspects should be emphasized and strengthened? These are usually the parts that directly reflect the character's profession and personality. More design considerations should also be given to the shape and structure. The characters I usually design are those that appear in 3D games. These characters need to be modeled in 3D, considering the angle of the game camera. The key areas of the characters I design are usually on the upper body, especially the head and shoulders. Therefore, I will add details to the styling in these areas. Next, follow me to render this character and reserve a total of questions. During this process, Let's see which parts are 80% and which parts are 20%. We'll reveal the answers later. The main areas I refined were near the character's head, face, shoulder, armor, and the part of the weapon close to the head, which were the key points for detail addition. The accessories that represent civilization also added more details. These are all part of the detailed 20%. These parts have added more structural details. Details of light and shadow changes, and more contrasts through the relationship between points, lines, and surfaces. But what about her cape and her calves? Simple shape, her belt and boots. Basic details. The pleat at the back of her dress, implied, not presented. This creates visual hierarchy. Your eye goes exactly where I want it to go. That's professional character design, controlling the viewer's attention. For this character, the parts I mainly add details to follow a regular pattern. They are scattered across the character in the form of dots of different sizes. Let's recap the 3 steps. Foundation framework. Answer the 3 core questions. Shape, language mastery. Every shape has meaning. 80/20 detail rule. Focus your effort where it counts. This process works for any character, any style, any project. I use it for client work, personal projects, everything. Your homework challenge starts now.